Okay, we are back from executive session where we discussed the applications for the Ward 7 appointment. To review kind of how we got here, this arose from the resignation of Councilman Pettis that was effective on May 31st. Our charter obligates us to appoint someone for the interim and also to call for an election. That election has already been called for. That filing is next week. Yeah, and then that election is in August with a potential second round in November, depending on what happens, whether the one candidate gets 51% in August. I think we all feel that the act of appointing is no substitute for democracy, but we're all grateful that there is a democratic resolution coming in August and in November, and so the voters of Ward 7 will have the opportunity to choose their long-term representative. There was no rule about whether the person we chose would be able to run or not run, but I think there was a philosophy held by a majority of the council that we should choose someone who was not running so that the voters of Ward 7 would have the ability to make a choice from a blank slate and that we would not give the power of incumbency to any candidate. And that was a philosophy that I think we have pursued. We had great applications, 18 as has been reported, lots of really qualified people, but we wanted to get through that process with as much swiftness as possible, and we decided, I think, today to do so in a manner that would allow the Ward 7 councilperson to take the oath of office at our next meeting 2 weeks from today. And with that, we do have, I believe, a resolution that had already been noticed. It was a fill in the blank, and I would turn to Councilman Greenwell to fill in that blank.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we would appoint Lee Cooper Jr. to the Ward 7 councilperson position until a successor council member is elected by the voters of Ward 7.
Very good. There's a second from Councilman Shadid. What we found, as I said, many great applicants, but there was one that had universal praise, really, from everybody he's worked for as a planning commissioner here in Oklahoma City and everybody that I visited with in the leadership of Ward 7. And it was just, it was something you simply couldn't deny. It would be a good fit. He has pledged not to run. He will serve for 3 or 5 months, depending on what happens again in August. He understands he will resign from the Planning Commission. He cannot serve in both capacities. And if this passes, he will take the oath of office in 2 weeks on June 19th. Are there any other comments or discussion from the council? Okay, we have a motion and a second to appoint Lee Cooper Jr. as the Ward 7 councilperson, and we will cast our votes. Passes unanimously. That concludes our agenda. We're adjourned.